Hey, good morning, everyone. We're good. We're recording here. Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone. Call to order the Columbia 911 Communications District Board of Directors meeting for February 26th. It's 9 a.m. and we're going to start with flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Hey, I'm Jeff Blatt, board president from the Rainier area, and we'll go ahead and start with Brian.
Brian, Zone 1, Clatskilling.
Shelby Hanson, Vernonia.
Mark Pacheco, St. Helens.
Pat Miller, Scapegoose. And staff. Jeremy Hypes, executive director.
Mary Jo Beck, office support specialist.
Nathan Hughes, tech manager.
Rich Levine, IT and Facilities. Additionally, we have online staff Kirby Folks and Daniel Hooper.
Go ahead and go into public comment. Public comment. Brady.
Morning. My name is Brady Prion. So I have concerns about advocacy for the levy. I believe that Mr. Jeremy has violated some public ethics laws about advocating, not just providing information. I've seen him do it on a couple of occasions. We're smart enough to know that that job is your job, not his. And I haven't seen any of you anywhere. I've seen him multiple places. And you want to pass the levy, I realize that. Then you guys need to do your jobs. You need to step up and not expect your director. You've had a variety of missteps, and people have, as you know, voted against your levy multiple times. And continuing to do that is not going to help you. It's going to just make people more angry. And you're new enough that those missteps people would forgive if you didn't then go ahead and violate the rules by trying to advocate for something that's not your job responsibility. And it's not just you. Chief Brody has done it. There are other ones. I mean, you should use Sally Jones. I think that she's a good person to advocate for it. She was, when she was here, your levies passed all the time. And we're smart enough to know when there's something going wrong and when you're not following the rules. And again, that doesn't help you, that hurts you. I also believe that you need to do some still work as a board. You need to get a different attorney, one that's local, not one that's from out of state. You need to resolve your issues with your own board member. You're not going to get a levy passed unless you guys are unified. It will be difficult for you to get a levy period in this economic times, but you need to have a unified board. So tell me which one of you has reached out to your board members and resolved the issues that you have between them. Those lawsuits need to get resolved. You need to stop the fighting, communicate with each other, and work as a unified board rather than continue to break the law by not letting him attend, Mr. Miller attend executive sessions. We are smart enough. We're paying attention. You have a lot of work to do.
My name is Nancy Reed and I live in Scappoose. And I saw the ad that was placed on Facebook and I thought it was very deceptive. And it suggested that if we don't do this, that we may lose 911 or that it's going to be deeply impaired. And I think it was turned down twice in 2024. And it implies that it's been continuing there. And if you don't vote, it's going to be going away. I just think there was a lot of deceptive stuff in there. And I thought I read the letter from the first responders too, and I thought it was deceptive. You know, when I read the letter, it sounded to me like they were saying you haven't done anything for the last decade. And we're asking you to support Jeremy because we see a light. We see somebody that we think can make a difference. I just feel like if you go down this route that it's not good, you know. It's your characters, you guys. Do the right thing. I feel like we need to put your names out there if you continue down with this ad and just say these are the people who are being deceptive. So I don't know. When you walk in a room, how do you want people to remember you? What do you want them to think of you? Please do the right thing.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a clarifying question? Nancy, are you, if I may ask, are you talking about the protectcolumbiacounty.com website when you say ad?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for clarifying. I was kind of curious what ad she was referring to as well. So, any other public comment? Anybody online?
Show of hands.
Okay. Thank you guys for public comment. Additions to the agenda. I know we had an update yesterday, and then I think Mary Jo just handed out some information this morning.
Yep, it's under new business. We had the ballot title form that was added to new business.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do approval of the meeting minutes. Their motion for approval of the January 13th meeting minutes as presented.
Motion that we accept those.
Okay. Shelley's got the motion.
I'll second.
Mark, second. Okay, moving second. Any discussion on those minutes? Call for the vote. All in favor of the January 13, 2026 regular meeting minutes as presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
All right, so Mickey is in the financial reports.
Yeah.
Mickey's not with us today. She's attending budgeting training and is out of the office until Monday. The financial statement's been included in the packet. The current year's tax, there's revenues, expenses, general fund. The budget, monthly budget end variance is 52.9% of our general fund, with the benchmark being 41.67%. Is there any questions to the budget variance? If you guys have questions, I'll do my best to try to answer them. If not, I can take the questions back and Mickey to prepare to answer at next meeting.
Okay,
We're just talking about the budget variance right now, not the check register.
We actually budget read or the check register either, if you're okay with that.
Yeah. either.
I do have a question about a couple things on the check register, specifically January 1, 2026 through January 31, 2026. Line item 754 on January 5th, 2026 to Governance Science Group Incorporated in the amount of $5,900. The comment says Flashvote annual subscription. Is my understanding correct that this is a political software that we pay $5,900 for?
Flashvote is a polling software, and it was used to poll people's opinions about where we've been, where we're going, and the direction of such. We intend to continue to poll regularly, whether we're in a vote or not, to try to get feedback from the community. As we know, we only have a couple of generally a handful of people that show up to these meetings, and we think this is an effective way to continue to get feedback from our community.
So it's going to be used to poll the users about their attendance at,
Not the users, it's actually
I'm
about
sorry,
a community, correct, the citizens.
okay, so it's going to be, for the record, this software is going to be used at $5,900 a year to poll the community about their attendance at basically public meetings.
Well, we're not necessarily about the attendance of, but it is trying to get feedback about our direction, where we're still failing, what we're needing to do, where we're needing to go.
Okay, and I want to call out that another payment to Mr. Peterkin in the amount of $22,349.05, just for, it appears to be a single billing cycle, which I believe is a month. And again, that was for January. And let's see, going down to December 1, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. Mr. Peterkin has an invoice or payment again of $25,705. And then going down to November 1, 2025 through November 30th, 2025. Mr. Peterkin has another payment for that billing cycle for $20,598.70. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on either the financial reports or the expenditures? Okay, we have a motion on that? We have a motion to approve, I don't know if we did or not. We need a motion to approve both budget variance and approval of expenditures.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion and second. I'll second. Okay, and then we've already had some discussion on it. There was any other discussion? Good, okay, go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion passes. And Danelle, we do operations report?
Point of order. Can I just confirm that that motion covered not only January's budget variance, but November, December, and January's expenditures? Is that what you intended, Brian, when you made the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing that up. All right, Joe. Danelle.
Hello, everyone. My report's pretty quick this time. We spent a lot of our operations time on a couple of things in the last month. I do have a correction for our staffing. There's just an error in my document. One of our staff, Madison, that was on maternity leave is now part-time. So we actually have 4 full vacancies instead of 3. So that 0.5 that was on the last one is now the Madison's position as a part-time. As well as below on my report for the CTOs, the trainers, Madison, because she moved part-time, is no longer going to be a full-time trainer. We fully expect her to return to full-time. She's very valuable and an excellent trainer. It's just currently she's stepping back a little bit. Our trainees have a lot of really great news. They graduated from DPSST on February 13th. A few of us went down. One of our trainees, Barlow, actually sang the national anthem during the ceremony, and it was quite an honor. Jeremy was able to be there, and so was Kirby and one of our other staff. It was an excellent ceremony, and we're very proud of both of them. They represented the district really well, and they were very successful. There are some recruitment cards on the round table at the front of the room. I had Jeremy place them there. This was something we had discussed in a few of the past meetings. If any of you guys would like to grab a few of those and bring them back to your areas, that would be great just to help our hiring efforts. For our recruitment, it's still chugging along. I have one update since this is that we have 2 interviews scheduled for tomorrow. So we seem to be kind of maintaining that pace, and it's going really well. There was that radio preventative maintenance. I thought the operations side of it went very smooth, and especially due to some support that we had from our user groups. We had 2 different fire liaisons that came in throughout the work and were integrated into dispatch. Chief Pritchard with Scappoose Fire and Chief Brody with Vernonia Fire were very supportive and very helpful throughout it. I think that Jeremy might be talking a little bit more about the overall project, but from the operations side, it went really well, and I'm very proud of all of our staff. They, didn't even break a sweat. They communicated really well. They always had their eye on the ball and keeping an eye on our communication abilities as they changed throughout the project. There also was social media posts, both about DPSST, the public education, and the radio preventative maintenance. If any of you hadn't seen those, that's been pretty consistent. And we're just continuing to work on things. Our public records to date, when I did this report last week, was 126. So we're still edging up on the number. Does anyone have any questions for me?
No questions, just comment about all the planning and the prep that went into all of that. I understand there was I know of a structure fire, and it sounded like everything, went as well as could be expected. And so that's pretty awesome to have that system in place, have that happen, and to be able to handle it. Kudos to Day Wireless, to Danelle, Jeremy, all the staff. I think it's pretty awesome. So
Thank you.
okay, thank you, Danelle. We're going to go to Nathan for technical manager report.
We're going to hear a lot of overlap about that radio maintenance. So we finished all the receive transmit sites, and as of today, we only have one more site to do maintenance on. That will be next month, early next month. With the help of Scappoose Fire, we implemented a program called Zello, which allows handheld radios or portable radios into our radio system, kind of like an IP phone, so you can use your phone on our radio system. We also in-house created an app that allows for fire toning, so it'll generate tones over that Zello program, so that if for some reason we can't tone from dispatch, we can still tone from Zello and get into the radio system. No movement on the HVAC BARD units, and we're still on track to upgrade our CAD system. We're wavering on which version to go to, but we're moving forward with testing and starting to configure things for the new system. Any questions?
No questions. Keep up the good work.
Mr. Chair, I do have one question.
Yes.
Nathan, when you say that, I think you said specifically the receive sites, all just confirming the voting sites, just the receivers, those were also PM'd to date?
We'll look over this way. They're shaking their head yes.
Okay. So Scappoose Courthouse, Scappoose PD
Scappoose
Courthouse.
is the one outline, which is 3-3 that we have scheduled with them.
Okay.
We contacted them, just wanted to make sure there was staff on site to make sure there was access to. So,
And we've already coordinated with Benjamin and flew on.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments for Nathan? All right, Jeremy, Executive Director report.
All right. So my executive director report, I just listed all the meetings I've attended. Plenty of meetings there just for everybody to see. I did want to bring special attention to the Civic Plus website kickoff meeting. That did not actually happen. We rescheduled for later. Our website is way outdated and needs to be updated sooner than later. We are not currently ADA compliant with our website, which is something I think is extremely important. And so we're looking at different options and prices. Civic Plus is a organization that has an agreement with SDAO that would give a reduced price through SDAO. So we're just kind of looking at different ideas now, see what the costs are going to look like so we can start planning ahead for the replacement of the site. I want to make sure our site meets all of our organization's needs on the staffing side, as well as what the community is going to expect. And quite honestly, when you're doing hiring push, one of the first things people go to these days are your website, and your website says a lot about your organization. So just kind of wanted to let you guys know we're doing some diving into the websites to get that updated. I did attend the SDAO conference, as well as most of the board members, the UPS graduation, and I did take my anatomy class so I can get EMD certified through APCO, which is a requirement of my contract. I was able to attend it here. Let's see, radio project. So there's a lot going on with that project. We did do, Danelle, the staff did an excellent job with planning, organization, collaborative efforts. We did have a structure fire on one of the days during the maintenance. We were able to call the Day Wireless tech on scene, who had us back online before we even disconnected the phone call. We were able to turn the actual radio system over to the fire scene. They did a great job. When they were all done and they were comfortable with it, they let us know, and we were able to hand the site back over to Day Wireless, who then took it down and finished their work. It did prolong the work for the day, but the planning is exactly what we wanted it to do. Day Wireless's tech on scene was right there and was able to get us right back online. It couldn't have worked out much better than it did. I do have a basic draft so far in my hands of what this report looks like. Once we get this new site done 3.3, I should have the more finalized that I'll bring to the board for everybody's view, and we can have a good discussion about that. I'll also be providing it to all the user agencies at the advisory committee. I would like to, once I get their report, come up with a cost of what it would look like to start tackling some of that work. I'm hoping to maybe break it into 3 or 4 chunks of work to make it manageable. And then take it to the advisory committee and get their feedback on what they would like to try to accomplish first. And then I'll bring a request to you guys from the advisory committee for what that cost looks like and the release of funds to get that work started. It's stuff that needs to be done. And there are just one of the things that we had heard that their tech advised me that the wire degradation at the sites is significant, and the wiring will need to be replaced. It's been up there. Most of it's been up there for 25 years. And of course, after a while, it degrades. So that would definitely be a high priority, as it is going to affect every piece of equipment at the site when it comes to signal, receive, and transmit. So
you're talking about the waveguide?
The way
Coax.
Yeah, coax. Sorry, thank you. So, but I will make that report available to you guys as soon as we have the finalized report from Day Wireless, so you guys can all look it over. But that being said, I also was made aware, thanks to Mark Pacheco, who ran into an aide at Senator Merkley's office, who informed us of a community improvement program, which basically is congressional spending, directed congressional spending. The application, I had a 2-week window to get the application in, and it's actually due in tonight by midnight, which I was able to get everything I needed to give a dollar amount of what we're looking for. They don't need any specifics on equipment at this point. They're looking more just at an idea of what that price looks like. And the invoice that I received or the quote I received from Day Wireless, the budgeting document, puts us at just a little over $3 million to replace all of the radio equipment at all of the tower sites. It was suggested that we aim between the $1.5 and $3 million mark to stay competitive for this money. So I'm going to submit the 3.3 and see what happens. So if it in fact it does, the senators Merkley and Wyden do agree upon pushing it forward, basically they'll make a recommendation for our project to be placed in a congressional spending bill. And then it'll be sent up to Congress for the official stamp of approval. According to Merkley's office, once you get on a bill, your likelihood of being funded is at the higher end, 90%-ish. Now, that doesn't mean we get all 3.3. It could be a chunk of that. It could be the whole thing. Clatsop County just got 1.3 out of a $2 million. I think it was a $2 million ask, if I remember correctly. So that being said, the intention is to take this money, if we receive it, and it all go to the tower sites. As the radios at the tower sites are the biggest expense that we have, I would like to spend this money on that. And we should know September-ish if it looks like we'll be funded and we've received the money probably early next year for that work. So knock on wood, do whatever you have to do to hope that we can receive this funding. It will be a big chunk of work done that we need to get done. And that's been way overdue. And there is options, of course, to find other ways that we may be able to save some of that money here or there as long as it's spent on the radio project. There's not really any restrictions necessarily on what part of the radio project. So I say we go to the radios at the sites first, and then if we have money left over, we look at other places in the radio system to spend it to make sure we get every dollar we can spent into the radios. Any questions I can answer?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. So Jeremy, just to clarify, so the $3 million quote that Day Wireless provided, that did not include consoles for
It
the.
is not including consoles
Okay.
at this time, just because those radios came in at such a high price. I did specifically ask the aide if, per se, that we came in under budget on those radios, that money could be spent elsewhere in the radio project as long as it is a radio part of the radio project.
And it doesn't lock us into a manufacturer or
It
anything
does
at this
not
point?
lock us into a manufacturer.
Okay, and then for what was quoted from Day Wireless, does that include that equipment already being P25 enabled, or is that strictly analog?
I do believe the equipment that they are P25 enabled, right? Yeah.
Okay, so out of the box, it's gonna be FDMA phase 1, conventional, okay. And then, does that include any voting or simulcast equipment replacement? It does, okay. Which one?
Yes.
Which one, voting or simulcast?
Yes.
Both? Both?
Yes. Simulcast is transmit, voting is receive. It's both.
Yeah, okay. All right, and then Jeremy, the other question that I have is just on the website topic. Given the uncertain future of the financial situation here, and how much I've seen some of those website companies charge, is it your goal to just do the ADA compliance aspect right now?
If
or-
that's what it comes down to cost-wise. I'm looking at basically trying to price what's out there right now so we can sit down and have a conversation what that overall cost is going to be. Obviously, with our instability and unknown of the financial future, I'm not willing to pull the trigger to spend a large amount right now. If it just needs to be the ADA compliant piece, then so be it. But I think our website overall needs to be way more user-friendly than what it currently is.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I just, all things considered.
I'm just trying to grab a bunch of quotes right now. I went to Civic Plus first because they are the ones that SDA offers the discount through. So it made sense to start there, but I'm intending to find others. So if you guys know of websites, products out there you think I should take a look at, please share. I'd love to reach out and touch base with as many as possible.
Well, in some cases, there's just a plugin that you can do on the existing website too that might be, I don't know that they'll propose that because that might cut into their
That's
business,
very-
but it's definitely something that should be looked into.
Oh, that's a good note to add. Thank you.
In the point of order, I just want to add, right now, we have two websites. We have our public facing and we also have the internal. We don't use our internal anymore, so that'll be some cost savings. So it should bring the new product down quite a bit because we're not getting two websites anymore.
Also, the county is going through the same exercise, so we should have some information on the plugins and Tyler's.
Oh,
We've
excellent.
spoken to a few companies already.
Okay, that'd be great. I will, I'll reach out and see if I can get some info. Excellent. All right.
I just had a shout out to Mark for this, get the ball rolling on this money through Berkeley and then Jeremy's work as well. I think any help that we can get.
It absolutely was the
It's
perfect
great.
timing because we only had like 2-week window left in the application process, a week and a half, I think, by the time we actually had our meeting with them. So,
Yeah,
It was just happenstance that it happened to,
Very
come up
good.
at that time, so worked out.
okay. Anything else for Jeremy on your report? We got employment attorney search update. We got Aaron Lehman and Miller Nash.
I actually would like to add another, just to comment on another one. I reached out to a Bryant, Loveling, and Jarvis. They are also based out of Bend. It was a recommendation that was made to me to reach out. They are based out of Bend. They are willing to travel, but they're also willing to do everything virtually and online. They have not had time to submit the actual proposal, but their dollar amounts are fairly consistent with both Baron Liebman and Miller Nash's at $300 to $350 for an associate. Per partner, they quoted me $300 to $500, which is a really large range that made me a little uncomfortable without an official proposal in hand. So they did seem to have all the things we were looking for and all the things we would need, and did have history that was usable. And just so you guys know, these proposals have changed a bit from the original proposals for Barron Liebman and Miller Nash. Barron Liebman resubmitted theirs at $335 for an associate and $460 for a partner. And Miller Nash is at $475 for a partner. So really, price-wise, I think we are very, very similar in pricing. Experience-wise, I think they're all experienced firms. Barron Liebman's got a great reputation. Miller Nash has an excellent one. And Bryant, quite honestly, Bryant Leveling and Jarvis also has an excellent reputation. The only real concerns I have Bryant Leveling and Jarvis is I don't know of anybody else that uses them currently. And I don't have a proposal in hand. And of course, that wide dollar range is rather scary. Miller Nash, we've had Miller Nash a long time. They've been part of the working with this organization, and with all the prices kind of in line with each other and the long history they have with the organization, I personally, and just my opinion for you guys to talk about, I would recommend Miller Nash just because we have the history with them. But that's just my research that I've done and what I have for you guys, I guess.
Yeah, I think both Barron Liebman and Miller Nash, and I don't know anything about this Bryant Leveling, but I think they're both good. I think I mentioned it before. I feel any savings by going with Barron Liebman over Miller Nash is going to be chewed up getting them up to speed with where we're at, where we're already kind of there with Miller Nash. So that's just my 2 cents on all of that. But I know we've kind of kicked this thing down the road a long time, and I kind of think we should act on it. Hopefully we can make that happen, unless you guys want to wait to get something from Tyler. What?
Sorry. Is it I can't say the name, the last one that you mentioned. They have the availability to do everything.
Bryant Leveling and Jarvis, they do have, they do pretty much everything. They do, here actually, didn't bring my actual notepad with me, but yes, they do government relations, human resources, HR stuff. They really, they have a wide range of skills.
I guess my question is there any reason why we couldn't just basically go with both Miller Nash and Barron Liebman, if that's, and you could use as the executive director of the board can, based on certain situations, what they think is most appropriate? I have a different opinion, and I've done this in the past myself, but I like the second opinions and the change in legal counsel, because especially when there's various things going on too, so that can also actually save you money depending on the circumstances. It just really depends. There's really no way to know.
Any other comment on any of that?
And all three of these firms theoretically could really fit that need, just to be honest. So,
well, I think first we need to decide, do we want to delay any longer to get a proposal from the third firm? And then if the answer is no on that, then we move to.
What do we want to hear from Mark? Want to hear from Brian? Want to hear from Shelley? Do you guys want to kick this down the road for another month and get the information from the
No, I think
firm?
we need to make a decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
We've already kicked it
Yeah.
down.
I think it's been long enough.
Yeah.
Been kicked down there a couple times already.
I just have one question about that. Jeremy, in your conversation with the third firm, did you ask them to submit a proposal?
yes,
Yeah.
they just haven't had enough time to get us started yet.
Did you give them a date?
They said they didn't give me a specific date, but they asked when the next meeting was, and I gave them our next meeting date, and they said they'd have it to be before that. They were guessing 7 to 14 days. So that would put us.
So not today's meeting, but the next month's meeting.
Next month's meeting, I should have their proposal in hand.
Yeah, I guess my only pause would be what your conversation was with them, and not being disrespectful to them, but at the same time, we have been doing this for a while.
And like I said, he seemed to, I mean, seemed to be responsive, but unfortunately, I don't know who else he's used. I don't have any background with him. I don't know any of his background.
Is it Jeremy Green?
Yeah, it was Jeremy Green.
He represents a lot of cities and counties. Yeah. I don't know about special districts.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see what they have. It's just kind of like Tyler mentioned, we've already been kicking this down the road, and it sounds like from Mark, Brian, and Shelley that they're ready to act on this. So I would go ahead and accept a motion for attorney.
I mean, using both these, how would that even work? I don't know how that would work.
Well, I mean, currently we have Miller Nash as our HR attorney, and then we have general counsel, which is separate. Theoretically speaking, one firm could fill both roles. I don't know that. I think most cities have very significant or very different ways of doing the same attorney for both roles. So there is that possibility. They can fill all. You just reach out to them and they, for any of your needs, and they can help you and assist you where you need. Most of these firms, I don't know the full size of Bryant, Leveling, and Jarvis, but both Baron Liebman and Miller Nash have very deep benches with lots of associates on staff who all specialize in different things. And basically, when you make a request, they either they personally handle it or they hand you to an associate that has a specialty in that field.
So I guess my other comment would be is Miller Nash has not done this wrong. So I don't understand why we aren't continuing to utilize what's been working for us.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any issues with Miller Nash, so.
Just a point of order, I was just looking while you were saying between the two. It appears that Miller Nash has decided in this new proposal to keep the rate at the $400 per hour.
I'm sorry, I didn't. Did I look at the wrong proposal when I was researching this?
Or it's mine.
I must have missed that, dude. No.
Yeah, I think my rate will be $400.
Okay, I had the wrong document in my pile. Sorry.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, I think it was one I had sitting on my desk. I think I grabbed the wrong one.
Oh, gotcha.
I think it's
All right, any other discussion on that? Accept a motion for an attorney search.
Make a motion that we keep Miller Nash.
I'll second it. Got a second. And we've already kind of discussed it. Any other discussion? We'll go ahead and call for the vote. All in favor for Miller Nash? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
I haven't, I'm on the fence. Would I be able to ask one question before I?
I think so, yeah.
Do we have a ballpark as far as hours and or money spent in the last year for this work? So that way I can kind of gauge to see if it's a significant number of hours, maybe the savings would be significant enough to say, hey, let's try someone new.
We don't use our HR attorney nearly as much as other, just general counsel or any of the other currently. So I don't, off the top of my head, I don't have a ballpark. And of course, Nikki's not here to ask. She might have had a better ballpark. But we don't really, it's the occasional, we send them an email, they get us on the phone, give us a decision pretty quickly or a resolution. So our billable hours for an HR attorney is relatively insignificant compared to other legal fees.
In that case, I would vote aye, but I would like to take a closer look at everything next year with the three options.
Okay. All right. So,
Okay, so we got an aye, an aye, an aye, an aye, and a nay, 4-1, is that
Correct.
okay? Motion carries.
and I'll make a note to review. I'll 3 again as a whole next year, if, and maybe other potentials, just so we have it on record.
Jeremy, I have a question. When you guys go into CBA time, how much is Labor Council used during the CBA process?
So the CBA process, I mean, CBA generally is agreed, is written up or at least discussed with the union. We present it to the to HR, our HR firm, Miller Nash. John Stellwagen would be the person that we normally work with on that. He helps write up the document, just gives recommendations if there's anything he sees as potential troubles coming. And then we'll help with the language of the document itself and approve it and take it to. As long as we're not going through extensive negotiations, which this year the union has at least floated the idea of a 1-year extension. Just because of the financial insurity of the future. So this one should be relatively low cost because it will be just basically an extension for another year of the current contract, if is settled, I should say.
Yeah, a little unrelated, but I am really curious the context behind the amount of PTO that's built into that CBA because it doesn't align with anything around us. Conversation for a different time.
I'll make a note of that though for future conversation.
There might be a good reason for it. I don't know, but okay, thank you.
Yep.
Executive Director Evaluation.
All right. Mary Jo and I took the whack at those performance evaluations we've been discussing. We do believe they're ready to go out. There is one for you guys, one for the advisory committee, and one for staff that were all in your packets. Just looking for one last, any other questions or anything else you see missing or want changed before we send them out. I'd like to send them out by probably March 1st and give them until just before the next meeting to tabulate and get them back to you guys. So if you guys are good with these documents as they are, I'd like to get them sent out so you guys can get the feedback you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't see anything.
Yeah, I have no issue.
See anything?
Thomas, but that's my own pet peeve.
What?
Oxford commas.
Okay.
Everybody good with me sending them out March 1st with hopefully have them back by the end of March?
Yep. I think so. We can, March 1st. Sorry, never mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay.
SDAO training, team building.
May I interrupt, Mr. Chair, just for point one real quick? So just to clarify, because on page 99 of the packet, the billing rates for Miller Nash still do say $475 per partner, and that's under the 2025 Columbia 901 discount rate. So can we just clarify, because I just want to make sure that the board's approval of the attorney contract, if it was material on the 400 an hour, just to verify that it is in fact going to be 400 an hour.
I think Heather, is Heather in the lobby?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Good
Yes,
morning,
we
Heather.
had, good morning. We had agreed to keep the $400 an hour rates. And I believe I sent that revised letter to Mary Jo maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Is that not the one that's?
No, I see the February 3rd one there, but then if you scroll down a little bit further, it looks like maybe inadvertently the older proposal still got included, or maybe that's shared there just for context. But dated August 20th, 2025, and that's the one that says on the last page, it's page 99 of the packet, the PDF number 99, 475. So it sounds like we have clarification.
Okay. We'll go ahead and go back to Jeremy for SDAO training, team building, and policies.
All right, so policies, chapter 4 and 11. So we had pushed chapter 4 down the road a little bit and chapter 11. Chapter 11 we held on to as the security. That was mostly because of the AI conversation at the end of the policy. I did reach out to LEDS. Nick over at LEDS said that there was a proposal made that was sent in September to their state's IT department for approval on it, and they still have not made a decision. So as of right now, there is no, say, recommendation per se from the state of Oregon as far as AI use. That being said, when looking at what has been proposed, we actually are doing way more restrictions than what they're proposing at this point, just based off of our AI policy. So my suggestion is, with the AI piece of the policy, is to approve the AI piece as it stands now. Nick said that they would be putting out a document to all the agencies when an AI policy is established from the state, and then we could update that language at that time. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I don't, keep kicking this down the road. I would like to try to come to some conclusion soon on it. I don't know when he's going to have that. The state's going to make a final decision on that proposal.
Well, I think we could always
Language.
revisit this if needed, if we get, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he made it in September, or they made it in September. I mean, they're 4 months ago and they still haven't, or 5 months ago now, still haven't decided what that recommendation is going to look like officially. So I would just like to say that I think as far as the AI piece is concerned, that we accept it as it sits. And then we'll update it once we get a recommendation. There's been some other cleanup in there, and then some spelling, grammatical errors that have been updated yet again after another set of eyes looked at it. But
Right. Jeremy, California has put an AI policy in place under their cloud computing special. Actually, it's not special anymore. It's their general cloud provisions. I think they keep changing the name and combining things, but it's interesting. Yeah. Because their Department of General Services basically controls all they have a statewide contract that they require.
take a look at that as well.
Any other discussion on the security?
I still have some things I'm looking at there, so I'll abstain from the vote if we're moving for vote in this meeting.
Any other comment or question, or what's the preference of the board? Do we want to act on this, or do we want to get more information? I feel like we can act on it, and then we can always, we get more information, we can get it back on the table, and I kind of hate kicking this stuff down the road month after month, which is kind of what has been happening. So that's my 2 cents.
Well, yeah, we can always revise at any time, right? We're not on a
Absolutely.
yearly thing.
Nope, at any point we can open it back up and revise it.
So then we move on.
I think go ahead and accept a motion, Mark.
With AI developing as quickly as it is right now and changing as quickly as it is, we're going to have to review this section of the policy pretty regularly,
I think
regardless.
And I honestly think the security policy should be the one that's reviewed most frequently, just because there is a lot of stuff in there that changes on a regular basis, especially when it comes to IT related stuff. So.
All right, let's go ahead and accept a motion for the security policy.
Make a motion that we accept it as written with the option to revise later.
Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Mark's got the second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain. Okay, security policy. Now we've got, go ahead.
As far as Chapter 4, board members' duties and responsibilities, there are some slight tweaks that were made in there since the last meeting, mostly just language change. As far as like executive director versus district manager, board. has been capitalized, just some cleanup there. You look back at 4-6, there was some just changing of grammatical stuff there.
And is a lot of this, or the majority of it is right from SDAO? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, some of this language is directly from SDAO. Some of it is there has been extra other I's added to it. There is also a change in my spending authority, which matches the ORS 279B.070's requirements in there. So,
When you say that it matches 279,
I was told, I'm sorry, it's in alignment with that said ORS per the attorney.
In that spending authority doesn't require by law board approval. Is that what that means?
That is correct. That I could spend up to $25,000 without, where it is not required for me to get board approval up to $25,000. I guess is the right wording for that.
Yeah, but isn't there a requirement at 10,000?
I would have to do more research on the bid requirement. I don't remember what the dollar amount on the bid requirement is. We certainly can, this is one we can set off for a little bit longer if you want for some additional research on that. I can bring the documentation with me. I don't have it in front of me currently.
Well, I don't necessarily have an issue with you having spending authority at 25,000, but I think that there probably does need to be something in there. And again, I don't make my comments with you specifically in mind, but just, knowing that there could be future executive directors in the future. And this might be their guiding light to something too, but, or an indicator that there isn't a requirement for the $10,000 threshold, but I believe 3 bids are required at 10,000, aren't they?
I'm trying.
We don't have to figure it out right now, but
I think you're right, but I would like to be able to pull up the double check issue. But I do believe.
I think the wording in there just should reflect something to the effect of that your spending authority is up to 25,000. However, there's an obligation to make sure that you still follow. It doesn't alleviate the following what the ORS says.
I would say that does make sense to me as well.
I agree.
Okay. So we will.
We could accept a motion to adopt it with the changes Tyler's talking about, or we could kick it down the road, whatever.
I would prefer to wait one more meeting just so we can actually get the language in there so you guys can see it before we vote on it. That way we all know what you guys are voting on and we're locking it in as your guys' Okay. I will get some language added in there regarding the bidding piece, and then we'll bring it back to next meeting for approval.
Okay, but also with chapter 4, I expressed some concerns at the last meeting, and I think we need to have a discussion with if legal counsel was consulted on that, why they still believe that isn't a conflict with what I went over in the last meeting.
Can you refresh our memory on that, Tyler? What that?
Maybe. Let me go back. I think it was basically.
I remember it. I just don't remember the details about it. So.
Yeah, it had to do with basically. I don't remember what the legal terms are that are triggered by the language, the proposed language that was in there, but it basically had something to do with is you can't compel speech. You can't tell anybody, board member or not, what they can and can't say. So you can't require them to say, I am talking only for myself. Of course, a board member can't represent that they are representing the board and a comment if that's not true and authorized by the board. But having a preemptive requirement that we can't force as a governing body for any of our board members to say something. We can't compel speech. So it had to do with that. And then I think there's one other issue.
We have it all.
What are we talking about in here?
Yeah, I wasn't prepared to talk about it again because I put it on the record last time. So I apologize.
Well, and I don't think we're going to act on it today anyway. So
why don't we postpone it? We'll pull the minutes from the last meeting so we can make sure that your concerns are addressed and prepared with the policy when we resubmit it next month.
Yeah, and it is in detail on there because I actually read all the different issues there. So
I remember it. Yeah, we've got it. We'll just have to pull it out. So
okay. So I guess my question is have those issues been looked at with? These are constitutional issues and speech issues. So having legal counsel that actually specializes in that area is kind of critical for when you're trying to place restrictions around speech. So I would hope that we would have a qualified attorney review that so we don't get in trouble.
Okay.
If that hasn't already been done.
okay, noted, and I will do the additional research and we'll pull your statement from the last meeting so that we can ensure that your concerns are answered or addressed.
There is a recent Ninth Circuit ruling too.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the individual. The it happened at the state capitol. Basically, he was banned from the state capitol, and it did go in front. It did progress, and there was a reversal, but the parts that are relevant to what we're talking about, I don't believe were reversed. I'll see if I can remember. Sorry, I know that's really vague. I just can't remember the name of the.
No, just if you do find it and you do recall what that name was, if you would just email it to me or give me a call and let me know so that I can. But I'll do the research. I'm sure I can probably find it under if I do some internet searching. So, okay.
New business. First budget meeting.
All right. So this is just kind of our opportunity to let you know that we're starting into budget season. There is a critical issues and budget development guidelines that was added to your guys' board packet. This is, we're hoping, we're at basically the 5-year plans coming up. We're looking to address the personal equipment stuff. So look at these over and decide if you think these are still legitimate priorities for the budget development guidelines for us to start working with. I'm, of course, open to discussion, open to your guys' decisions on what you're looking at. I don't know if you want some time to look over it and think about it, or if you guys have had enough time to review the stuff to have the conversation now. But we are quickly entering budget season, and we really, we're going to need this stuff very, very soon. Probably no later than the next meeting. So,
Anybody have any questions or comments on any of that?
there's a lot of language here, so I didn't know if you guys wanted time just to kind of mull it over and think about it to have a discussion at next meeting, or if you guys would be prepared at this meeting to discuss it. It's not a really long document, but it's long enough that there's some thought that should go into it.
What do you guys want to do? You want to act on it? You want to table it for a month?
When do you start, Jeremy? When do you start your plan? I mean, if we delay it for a month, is it going to hinder you?
It'll push us up probably right up to where we're going to need it. I mean, it's going to be really close. It won't hinder our process, but it will be like right as we need it if we wait till next meeting. So it would be preferred that you guys have some discussion now and make some sort of a determination, but I also don't want to force you guys into it.
Yeah, I looked it over. I didn't see anything.
Mary Jo, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, from my understanding, and again, I apologize, this is not really my wheelhouse, but working alongside the CFO, my understanding is that we come to the board to ensure that these issues and these guidelines are still relevant. Or if you guys have any additions, changes, that's kind of what, we're just looking for your input as we delve into the actual.
It helps guide us and guide the budget committee on the priorities.
So do we need a motion and act on it, or are we just kind of doing concerns, bring it up, or?
There in the past has not been action, just your input.
Yeah. I personally, I didn't have anything to add, but if anybody else has anything?
They're all relevant things that obviously we've determined are critical issues and need to be worked on. So I don't see anything that is on there that shouldn't be on there.
And we can, this is a fluid topic really, right? So if something comes up or we think
can
of
roll
something,
with
we
this
can-
document as it is, and then at the next meeting, you had something else you wanted to add, we could certainly add it in there and have that discussion. But I think if you guys are all comfortable with the way this stands now, yes, we can start working with this document. And if you have something you want to add next meeting, we can certainly have that discussion and add it then. But at least this gives us something to start working with and guiding with.
You want me to leave it on the agenda? That way we can
Revisit it.
revisit it if there is something.
Right.
Because this language is obviously going to be updated. I see things on there like improvement to Meisner. Well, that's been done.
Yeah.
But as of last year, it wasn't. So that's why this is last year.
There is going to definitely have to be some language change in there to update some of these, the actual context of, but the headlines and the bullet points are, the bolded lettering's probably.
Yeah, I'd say move forward, make the changes you think need, and we'll look at it again next month.
Well, so the goal setting exercise that I had suggested that we do months ago, I think that it has been canceled. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's are related to this. Like, for example, we just got done doing our annual goal setting for the city a couple weeks ago. And that's where we go over all this, and we do very generalized goals, and then staff implements them. We set the goal as a governing body, we set the goals of the organization, and then staff is responsible for implementing them. So I see this related to that. One thing that I would recommend adding to this is just, and this probably should be an annual evaluation too, is that we evaluate our service providers and our vendors on an annual basis that we spend X amount of money with every year, just to make sure that we're being physically responsible and there's not a different option out there that we otherwise wouldn't have known about that we really should consider.
I think everybody thinks that's a good idea, so we'll work on some contextual language and make sure it gets in there.
And then we've got the ballot title form approval.
So sorry for the last minute delivery of it this morning. It was rushed to be updated last night, and then we didn't get a response from legal counsel until first thing this morning. This is the ballot title language, which is due tomorrow. The ballot title itself is specifically the piece. The rest of it is an explanation statement. The full explanatory statement isn't due until March 19th. So the language that is specifically in the ballot title spot, there is language that had, there was a challenge previously, and that was the language that was approved by the courts after the last challenge.
So in the language previous though, wasn't there, the only issue that I have with this is it makes it sound like this is the sole funding for the 901 district, which is inaccurate. So that in of itself is pretty misleading, because if I step back without context and I'm just a voter reading the pamphlet or the ballot title, this makes it sound like, I'm Mary Smith on Scapistonia Highway that doesn't have any context about the 901 district. If this is all I have to go off of is what I'm reading right here, this 100% makes it sound like this is the sole funding for the 901 district. And this is actually supplemental funding to the 901 district. It's not the primary revenue source.
Okay.
May I speak to that?
Sure, Sally, go ahead.
The explanatory statement does explain that in detail. Because of the short word count, that was put into the explanatory statement, which has a more generous word count. So the drafts that I helped work on, we made sure that that was perfectly clear, that the combination is what would have the impact for a homeowner, the combination of the permanent tax base and the proposed reestablishing the levy rate. So that will be perfectly explained in the explanatory statement, which is in the voter's pamphlet, connect to the ballot title. It's all there together.
Yeah, 10 words is not.
Mr. Chair, can we please make sure from somebody online that they could hear what Sally said? Because I don't know if there's microphones back there.
You want me to come up here?
Yeah, go ahead.
You may be fine, I'm just not sure.
Okay, that's all right. Sally Jones, volunteer consultant, I suppose, helper, former executive director for 20 years for the district. The ballot title, Mr. Miller is correct, and that the ballot title, the language is very compact and very limited as to the number of words that you can do. So you have to speak specifically to what's being proposed. The explanatory statement allows for more wording, which explains the full impact or funding that comes out of property taxes. And the explanatory statement does specifically outline the impact to each homeowner for the proposed levy and for the ongoing permanent tax rate and what that combined impact is.
Okay. So for the sake of clarity, when you say the full explanation statement, are you referring to only the statement that is in the voter's pamphlet?
Well, both get filed with the county clerk. So there's the ballot title and the explanatory statement. Those are factual statements that are filed by the district. And then the county clerk publishes those in the voter's pamphlet if they decide to hold one. Otherwise, it's also included in the, I think it's included with the ballot.
That's what my
explanatory statement is.
That's what my concern is.
Yeah.
That it just, they're,
But the two of them are in sort of, that's what the district as an entity is proposing to the public. So they're factual and they're very much linked.
yeah, my only concern is that if the full explanation statement is only in the voter's pamphlet, and I don't know that there is one for this election, that context would be missed. Do we know how many words this currently is in the summary? It looks like there's a 175 limit.
It's 175 for the narrative and there's 175 in the narrative. There's other limits. The caption, the word count is a maximum of 10, and the word count in this is 9. The question, the maximum word count is 20, and there's 19 words in the question. The summary, the maximum word count is 175, and the 175 used.
Okay, what I was going for is just wondering if in the very first sentence there in the summary section, if at the end where the period is, we could just put there some language that says to supplement the district's permanent rate or something like that, just something very short. But I just did do a word count and it like you said, it came to 175.
Right.
Okay,
The explanatory statement, like I said, is a 500 word count in the summary. And it's very clear. That's the first thing that's outlined in
We
there.
could do, sorry, taking a quick look at this in the second paragraph, where it says levy funds would support ongoing, we could change support to supplement, and that would keep our work count.
Yeah, still not really clear, but better.
any other questions or comments for Sally? Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
Okay, this is something we need to act on. So Mark had a recommendation changing that to, say that again, Mark, was supplement instead of support.
Yes, second paragraph, second sentence.
Paragraphs and seconds, thank you. Any feedback, any comments, questions on any of that? Accept the motion to approve this without whatever the motion is with the change.
The limit change.
Yeah.
The only other change we may want to consider if we're talking about clarity is in the caption, It's just utilizing the full 10 words and inserting communications between emergency and services. So it become emergency communication services.
That would be clear.
Emergency communication services, and that was in the caption you sent.
Yeah, it's in the caption.
Just right before the last word, services, just in communications.
Okay, we've got a couple options there.
Same thing in the question. The addition of the word services, there's
Yeah.
Your emergency
Communications
services.
services. Okay. Do we have a motion in a second?
A motion to accept with those 3 changes.
Brian's got a second. Okay. Well, we've got a motion and a second. We've got 3 changes. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm still a nay for the reasons stated at the last meeting, sorry.
Okay. Motion carries. That's it, unless anybody's got anything. You got anything else, Jeremy? Or you good?
No, we're good.
We'll go into board member comments. Anybody? Anybody around comments?
Just that I'd like to congratulate the, sorry, 1 second, the trainees on the achievements they've accomplished that were noted earlier in the meeting.
Yeah. Tyler, comments?
Thanks, Jeff. So yeah, I have a couple. So I noticed in the packet, this board meeting packet that is posted online and that we work off of during these meetings, that Sally Jones's written comment on page 10 of the packet was included. And I would just ask that this board accept a standard operating procedure or policy. We can discuss it further at the next meeting, of course. That anytime that anybody has any comment to this board, they have something in writing that they want to submit, that document gets submitted into the meeting minutes. That's a standard practice for most governing bodies, but that hasn't been consistent here. So I think that regardless of how much we like it or don't like the comment, it needs to be a standard that the written comment is always introduced into the record.
Okay, any other?
And then regarding the February 13th graduation of the 2 new trainees, congratulations on that. That's pretty cool that Barlow got to sing the national anthem. Thank you for doing that and representing the district. The recruitment cards, I'm really glad to see that that's out. I think those could be really powerful if there's, I think if it's not already being done, we do need to go have meetings with the different agencies and say, hey, this is how we envision that these are used. And, you know, when you go through Dutch Brothers or Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever, and you have these interactions with these people that seem like they're on point, those are the good people that have that height. You can tell the ones that have the really organized customer service, speak clearly, are on point. Those are the people you want to give the cards
Just
to.
to comment on that, we did mention it at advisory committee and we've mentioned it here, and we have sergeants meeting in a few weeks, which will also bring in this message to them as well. The question I always have is, you know, when you're telling the chiefs, is it making it to the line level troops?
Right. And we have a problem with that. Yeah.
So I would like to, actually, I think maybe the better option would be is to ask the chiefs if we could potentially, if they would be willing to put it on their counters or something at their agencies or somewhere in the back room. I don't know, have a conversation with them to see what they can do and what they can offer.
Yeah.
Because there are ways to distribute it. But I used to do it when I was at Clatsop County. I used to carry a stack of them in my pocket. I'm carrying a stack of them with me now. It's great when you go to a restaurant and you see that person that's just slammed and they're remembering your orders and they're on top of it. Those people are great dispatchers. Baristas are great for it. Customer service levels high, intensity is high. So bank tellers, there's something about bank tellers, you know, they know how to deal with difficult conversations because people get feisty when you mess with their money. So they can handle those conversations really well. So, yes, please take a stack with you, take them back to your community, anybody you know who,
What about making a flyer that's for the actual first responders and just rubber banding some of those cards to that or whatever, somehow put them in an envelope and then they can stick them in each one of those, like the officers and the deputies have boxes with, you know, all their paperwork and subpoenas and things go to. I mean, maybe not throw a bunch in there, but just, I mean, I don't want to waste them, but at the same time, the more we put them in front of them, the more they're probably
even
gonna
if we give them a couple and say, if you want more, let us know.
Yeah.
That way we're not wasting a bunch of them, but we can get it out there and let them see it.
Yeah, the people that are already out there are such a resource and tool for getting these things out there and getting applicants. So, so the city of Scappoose is applying for a grant right now. It's a state level grant. It has a cap of 400,000, but with that grant, we're trying to get replacement radios basically for all of the law enforcement agencies. Right now, of course, we can help fire too, but right now the law enforcement agencies are the focus. And because of the $400,000 cap and the quantities that were needed by each agency, Scappoose, Rainier, and Columbia City had the quantities of radios that equaled right under the $400,000 threshold. So those are the ones that we're trying for first right now. I did put in there 5 mobiles for you, Jeremy, so that because if you go to a 911 dispatch center, a lot of them have the mobiles mounted underneath consoles as a backup, completely independent of the console system. So if the console system were to go down, you can revert in there. It's transparent to the end user. They can plug into a jack and use it, foot pedal, everything just like a console. So I did put that in there for you guys. Hopefully we get them. I think you have 5 positions. Is that okay?
Yep.
So it should take care of that.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed on that. And then I think that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Ryan, any comment?
I'll echo Mark on congratulating the staff on their achievements and accomplishments. And as always, thank you for the hard work that you always do, and it's appreciated. And Mark, welcome back. Good to see you back in person. That's really all I have today.
Well, I appreciate both Mark and Tyler with being able to look outside for other resources that some people may not be aware of. That's hugely helpful. And I want to thank the community for all the support that they do give us, because it's all about the community to begin with, and that's why we're all here. And appreciate the staff and hard work, and hopefully we can keep moving forward.
And can I?
Yep.
Just real quick, thank you to everybody. Thanks to Day Wireless for the radio project. I really appreciate the work that you're texted in the field and your responsiveness to our plan as we had it in place. Again, that fire from our side couldn't have gone much better with getting the tower back online. So I do appreciate it. And Jeff specifically, I appreciate you taking the time to be here. It means a lot to know that you're paying attention and you're involved in the conversations going forth. So Tyler, thank you for your conversation earlier this week. We did have a conversation about the CIP funding. He had some ideas and some tips and some technical information to think about also as far as potential future for what CAD systems, radio consoles. We had a pretty decent conversation about some of that technology stuff. So I appreciate it, Tyler. And thanks to my staff for continuing to be here every day and putting their best foot forward and powering through.
Can I just add too, we appreciate
Yes.
Day Wireless too, and sorry we didn't say anything because
Yeah,
that was.
absolutely.
Thank you.
I think we all echo that. Thanks, guys.
Not going to repeat everything that everybody's already said. I'm on board with all of that. That SDAO conference, I've been to it over in the Bend, Sun River area. I hadn't been to the one in Seaside. Much closer to go to Seaside, and you don't have to drive over the pass to get there. So that was kind of nice. But some great training over there. George Dunkel attended some of his, and just a lot of good information and to be able to network and all that. I did. On a side note, I had we're having lunch at the table, and I noticed this gentleman was from Malawa Lake, and I was gonna comment on, boy, that's beautiful country up there. And then he came over and asked me if I was related to anybody that lived in Hebner. And I said, well, I grew up in Condon. And so anyway, long story short, he went to college with my brother. And so that was kind of the cool thing to make that connection. But yeah, just appreciate everybody's hard work. And that's all I have. Mary Jo?
I just wanted to note, looking at the Columbia County Elections website, it states that for each primary and general election, May, November, even years, the voter pamphlet is produced. So we should have one this year.
This year, okay.
Thank you.
Good. All right, 10:20, we'll go ahead and adjourn. No executive session, is my
No need for
understanding.
executive
No
session.
need, so 10:20, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you.